And then I'm going to give
I'm already red from laughing.
So here's my thing. While we're waiting for everybody to tune in, hi guys. We'll give it just
hello, everybody.
A couple moments. So here's my thing too, and we'll get into this and we'll help people with this. Setting those boundaries. Because another one of my boundaries is you cannot whisper in my ear. Don't say my name. Don't say my name. That freaks me out. I don't like, because there's this old proverb that says if you hear your name, that means you're going to die. Or like that's the devil calling you, or all these other things. So that bothers me when I hear my name. Oh, Elizabeth, I'm coming to join you.
Let's So wait, you mean like whispering in your ear, not like when you have clairaudience and somebody goes, Susan, and you go through the house like, who's here?
Okay, hold on though. Hold on. I never thought of it that way. That's probably actually what it is. Holy cow. But my
all this time your guides are like, Adrian. They're trying to be polite.
Because I'll be in public and I'll hear Adrian and I'm like, and then I'll hear, and I keep hearing it and I'm like, first of all, who knows my government name? Why are you calling me by my government name all out in these publics like this? I don't know you. And I will just look and like, who's calling my name? And then that's when I'm like, okay, I'm dying. Elizabeth, I'm coming to join you, honey. Because I've always been taught if you hear your name, especially if it's clear, that means like you're going to die or something like that. My mom was like, oh God.
This whole time it's been your spirit guides trying to get your attention.
So that's probably
you thought it was some crazy person from across the veil.
That's probably why they don't like me sometimes. They just tolerate me.
Well, welcome you guys. Unfortunately, we got here 15 minutes early and we have been laughing so hard. My face is red. We have been laughing. Oh, thank you, Catherine. Wow. Yay.
It's both of our fault because this is what happens when we.
Oh yeah.
This is what happens.
It's.
So we're going to get this started with.
Oh yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ghost Stories, Part 2, our ever-continuing saga of what to do when you think you have hates, ghouls, hobgoblins, or spirits in your home. I am one of your hosts, Adrian, Ghostbuster number 2, and you've got our other host. Introduce yourself, Ghostbuster.
I am Ghostbuster Scaredy Cat.
Yeah.
And I am not afraid to say that. I'm owning that today. You all don't know what's coming.
So, we're going to get into it. We're going to do a couple things. First, we're going to tell just a couple stories because why not? Why not? Thank you so much, Starfish, for the super chat. Second thing we're going to do, so the top part is we're going to tell a couple stories. But then the second part, we got so many amazing questions last time about what to do if I think I have a hint, ghoul, or hobgoblin in my house. How do I communicate with it? Should I be scared of it? How do I activate this who's this Archangel Michael dude? What was this safety sphere you were talking about? We just got really good questions. So we were like, you know what? We probably should spend a few minutes helping people understand how to do this. And also, we want to also give you some tips on how to hire a credible Ghostbuster if it gets to that point. Am I missing anything?
No, I just want to call out New Beginnings. She is walking, or whomever is walking in a creepy wooden forest right now. Are you crazy?
Actually, that'd be kind of fun.
That's why I'm the scaredy cat, and that's why she is cray-cray.
Thank you so much, Judy, for the super chat. Couple things too. Make sure you guys stick around until the end. I need somebody, maybe one of the moderators, to help, and Susan, holding you accountable too, to remind me I'm going to be doing a giveaway.
Yay!
And somehow I was going to do a giveaway when I got to 3,000 subscribers. Somehow I blinked them at 3,100. And
congratulations!
It happened super fast that I just blinked. I was like, what happened? So as a way to say thank you, I'm going to do a giveaway, but you have to stick around until the very end in order to get the deck that I'm going to give away. So
tell them what deck it is. It's Angel what? Angel.
it's Angel Answers. This is an amazing deck. I had a version of this a couple years ago. And so like, I don't know.
Oh, Radley, Valentine. Cool.
Yes. And it's great because it's very easy to understand Oracle deck. It the answers, like the cards are what it is. So if it says success, it means success. You don't have to try to figure out what the hell does this mean in this book. No, you glance through the book once and you got the answers. That's why I love this deck. And they're all based off of the archangels. So you will also get to learn archangels too. So absolutely great deck.
So somebody's going to win that deck.
Yes.
From Adrian.
It'll be pretty easy to win, but you'll find out how towards the end of the broadcast.
But you guys have to help us remind us, because we're going to be caught up in this and laughing, and we're just going to forget. So we're enlisting your help. Thank you.
We're enlisting your help. And I have a really bad ADD that is self-diagnosed. So.
I understand.
So we're going to get into it. So let's tell a couple stories because, why not? And I'm putting the onus on you, my friends.
Well, I was just telling the story before you guys all graciously appeared on this wonderful live that we're having tonight, that we were talking about clairaudience as we talked about when you guys appeared. And one of the things that happened to me, and this is really before I was awake, right? I mean, a lot of these things start happening to you and you don't have any idea. You have no framework. You have no structure for understanding this. It's just happening to you and you don't know why. And so I was at work. I was on my computer in a room with a bunch of other people, not, probably about 5 or 6 people. And we were all on our computers working away. Everybody was quiet. And I was going through this thing where someone was breathing in my ear, like, and if I didn't pay attention, they would get louder and it would get more insistent. And I was working. I mean, I literally was just trying to not pay attention. And all of a sudden I stood up in my chair and I said, stop breathing in my ear. and look, nobody's next to me. They're, we're all in our little stations and everybody's like, like looking at me. And then they're like, nope, don't pay attention to Susan. She's gone crazy.
Was it like a call center type environment where there's like multiple people?
I was a photographer, so we were all editing pictures in our little stations. No one was on the phone. Honestly, somebody could have been on the phone. I don't remember. I just remember being so mad. It's like, stop it,
That is.
But they had been doing it. They had been doing it for days. And I couldn't, and I have other ghost stories about that building. It was an old building and, it was definitely haunted, and it haunted by different entities depending on what month it was.
Okay, we need another one about this building, please. We're just going.
But no, the other one is really interesting because I would work really late. Like I would be there at 7:30 at night. Everybody be gone, and I would be working. And I didn't realize I was a medium. I'm just telling you, I'm sure you guys understand. I'm sure some of you guys get this. But this guy comes to me and he starts talking to me and I'm like, and he's telling me about how they split the building. It was an old building and they split it into 3 sections. And then they made each section a little shop and then a condo, whatever. It's in a old downtown. And he's telling me about how it used to all be one piece. And there was a big, like a big counter that ran, and it was Cress's 5 and Dime. Okay. Is what it was. And he's complaining. And I'm like, dude, I didn't work in 1929. I can't help you. I don't know why they split this building up, but it's the way it is. And I'm like in 2008 and I can't help you. But he would talk to me every night and just want to complain about how everything was ruined and just this street has gone to terrible. And it was hilarious. He was an old curmudgeon.
Wow. And so he would just show up and y'all would just have the little chit chat about this place is going to hell in a handbasket back in my day, baby.
Yes. And then I would ask, when it first started happening, I asked people, I'm like, well, you remember when it was Cress's? Yeah. I said, well, was there a big counter in the middle that went all the way across? Yeah. And I would double check what he was telling me and it was all true, So, I mean, it was I wasn't, going mental at that point.
I don't think I've ever had the gumption. I've done it. Okay. When I was part of the ghost hunting team, I would go back and do research after the fact because I was being paid to do it. But in my personal life, I don't think I've ever gone back to research. And I think maybe I'm not as fearless as I think I am.
You are. Wait till y'all hear these stories.
Researching it would freak me out. Like I refuse. I did a little bit of research to figure out what hanged or hobgoblins were in this current house. But once I got to a certain point, I'm like, I don't want to know because I'm scared of I just.
Yes. I'm like, don't ask, don't tell. So people, I have friends that come in, they're like, hey, what's that thing? And I'm like, I don't know. Because I'm not looking, right? I'm like,
Yeah, I'm like, I don't. I think too, it's for me, it's my checks and balances for sanity because it's hard and it's great having this gift, but it can be tiring. And I think that that's just my way of going, you know what, I can't, no.
Sure.
I don't want to research. If I think it's haunted, I'm going to just, whatever spirit tells me, I'm just going to trust it. I don't necessarily need to validate it by researching it after the fact. I'm good. Thank you.
Well, this was in the beginning, and I was, you start to wonder if you're losing your mind, right? So I'm like, okay, maybe I need to ask to see if, and then it validated that I was talking to this ghost, but then I didn't even know what to do with that. I was like, what do I do with that now?
So what do you do with that? Because there are some mediums in this chat who haven't quite embraced their mediumship. They still think that things they're hearing or seeing, the first thing you do as a medium is when you are not aware that you're a medium is you try to talk yourself out of what you just saw.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So what is the first thing that you did to kind of start going, am I talking myself out of this? Is this real? What's going on?
Well, let's make a distinction too between seeing ghosts and then actively saying you're a medium and you'll help this person connect to their loved one on the other side, right? So I think a lot of us go through a period of time where we're seeing ghosts or we're interacting with ghosts in whatever way, but we're not really using that. We're not really thinking that we're a medium, and we're not ever really thinking that when we could actually apply that to, somebody's crossed over grandmother or something.
Yeah, there's a difference.
Thank you, Marie.
Thank you, Marie. And I'm writing down your question, Marie, so I can make sure we answer it. And towards the end. I always tell people you got to embrace it first. And what is the clear distinction? Can you talk to them? Do they talk back to you? Can you see it? Do you see it and walks away? Because everybody has seen and had a paranormal experience, right, but then there's a lot of mediums who can talk, who aren't that great at being a death walker. They can talk to them, but that whole getting them to cross over that's just not their peanut butter nor jelly. And then you've got the full spectrum, and there's even more outside of this, of the talking and helping them cross over. Thank you, Carrie. There was somebody else too. There's Marie, Carrie, and hold on. Marie, Carrie, Starfish, Judy, Chris. Thank you all so much for super chats. May that generosity be returned to you tenfold. Thank you so much. Give me another good story. I'm here for this. I'm loving this. This is my
write down this question. Whenever I've seen a spirit, it's like I'm in a slow motion out of my body, in a slow motion out of her body. That's very interesting. I want to talk about that. That's crazy. Okay. And then Suzanne, thank you very much. Wow, Suzanne. Wow.
Thank you so much. May that generosity be returned to you. Why do I feel like I need to sing this out? Probably.
Why not?
Probably because I'm weird.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, Jen Lynn is here.
Jen Lynn, hi, ma'am. Also, thanks to the moderators. Becca is here from the House of Lenormand. Hi, girl. Hey, Becca. Let's keep it. So, tell me another. I want to hear more about this building that had the entities. Or another building. Tell me about another building. I'm loving this.
She wants to put me on the spot.
I do. That's the kind of woman I am.
Oh my gosh. Exactly. I don't know. So we talked about that. So have you had this experience? I mean, because I thought it was just me, and yet I'm hearing it from other people. But I think it's more common than we think. Have you seen Civil War soldiers?
I'm sorry.
Crickets. I need the cricket thing. The cricket sound.
I had a smart aleck joke, but then I've decided to keep it to myself because that actually ties into one of the ghost stories I was going to tell this evening.
Well, there you go.
I have not physically seen them as far as an apparition form. Let's just be real. I don't think depends. That's not fair though. Because, even Union soldiers though, I don't necessarily think that just because they were more fighting for the preservation of the Union. Not everybody they're getting down with the slaves to be emancipated kind of thing. So they've never shown themselves to me in a physical form. And I can understand that, and I get, however,
so when you say aberration, is that what you say?
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying, because this is one of my rules. See, y'all missed this part, but I have rules for ghosts. I have rules because for me to do this, it freaked me out so bad. I mean, you see my name. So it freaked me out so bad that I really had to have rules. Like if you come in my house and you start moving my furniture around, you're out. I mean, I'm telling you, you're going to be out. By warning, you're going to be out whatever I have to do. So I have rules. So, But one of my rules is I don't need to see you what do they call that? Is it ectoplasm or ectoplasm?
Yeah, there's so many different, depending on what form it's in, there's different definitions.
Oh, no, see, you're talking about a form. That's wrong right there. No, I see them in my mind's eye.
Okay.
I see them in my mind's eye because forms are, no, I would be in the hospital.
Okay. Yeah, you can't, you may not be able to go hit these streets with me then.
All right. We were going to go to Savannah together. I've already lost my gig. I couldn't cut it. You mean that you have seen them take form, like ectoplasma, take for real form? For real.
Dark, so usually it will come. They're one of the forms. It shows up and is a very dark silhouette. It is almost like pitch black, and you see the outline. That is one. You can actually sometimes see.
Are y'all hearing this?
Physical markings, and then you'll also get orbs. Orbs are very popular.
Orbs are cool.
Orbs, so there's a spectrum. I've experienced the spectrum. I have not, knock on wood, have not dealt with seeing any poltergeist type energy. Thank God. But yes. Oh, and okay, Karma, Fredericksburg. Okay, somebody was telling me in the last time chat, I need to go to Fredericksburg, Maryland.
Oh.
I think it's Fredericksburg. It's north of Gaithersburg. They're all burgs, so something like that, which I didn't live too far away from a couple last year. They said it is haunted like no other. I'm like, oh, yay! Since Corona's over, I'm going to go up there. Okay, sorry. Going back to Civil War, Haints, Holes, and Goblins. Have you, you answer your question first. Have you seen a Civil War entity? And tell me about that.
Yes. So I look outside my door and there's a whole group of Civil War and they're war torn. I mean, the guy in the front, he looks like he's 12. I mean, he could have been 15, but he looked really young. And the guys behind him were older, but the guy in the front was the leader of this ragtag group. And I'm trying to think. They had blue. I think they had the blue uniforms. So they were just looking for. There's a lot of Union soldiers where I am down in the South because I was on the coast, and the Union came in with their boats. But I see them quite often, right? And they're just looking for help. They're just looking for help. I mean, I know that probably blows people's minds, but that they're just looking for somebody to help them.
Yeah,
And I went through a whole period where I was seeing them all the time. like a new group all the time. And I'm like, it makes you look up the history, right? Because again, I guess I just seek validation or something. I'm like, were they even here? You know what I mean? I'm not making this up. Have I gone crazy?
So did you help any of them cross over? Did they ask to be helped?
The kid asked, he was the spokesperson. Nobody else was speaking. He was standing in front of them. And you know what was weird? It was almost like there was a light shining on him. He looked like a little spotlighty thing was shining on him. And then the rest of them were kind of a little bit in the dark or in the back. And there was no street light. There's no reason for him to be lit like that. And I talked to him and I asked him what he wanted, because I'm like you have to be careful starting a conversation, because once you start a conversation, then they're on you. They're on you. They want you to help them. They want to talk to you. They're not going to leave you alone. Every time you go out the door, they're going to be standing right there.
Hey, buddy. Hey, I was waiting for you to leave today. I have so many things I want to talk to you about. Okay, so listen. So remember back in 1847, you're like, no, I just want to go to work.
It's true. You learn boundaries. That's how we are able to do this, is we had to learn boundaries.
Yeah. So
that's a really good tip for anybody out there that experiences this. You have to have boundaries. You have to be able to tell them, no, this is not acceptable. I'm not going to talk to you right now, or I can't help you.
Yep.
Right. I can help you, but I never, you know what? I'm going to tell you something weird, actually. So that same house, it had so much activity that somebody told me it had an alley and then it had a back gate. And somebody told me to post 2 archangels in the back gate and have them just cross people over, just have it be almost like a vortex.
Yeah.
And I did. I set it all up, and I'm like, and I never used that gate. It wasn't like I had to go in and out of it ever. Right. So, and that's kind of what started happening.
That's awesome. It's another good tip. Set up some type of altar, some type of something.
Get help.
Get help.
Get help. All the archangels and say, hey, I need some help here.
I can't help you, but those beautiful archangels over there,
right.
They're your people. Go to them. They'll help you. That's a very good tip. And that's fascinating. Oof. Okay. Yeah. See, that's the one period. No offense to anybody. I don't mess with those haints from that time period.
That's what I'm saying. You're going to be going up there, right? So the time that I really got overwhelmed with spirit, to the degree that I was driving and I had to pull off the road, was going through the Smoky Mountains through one of those Civil War that you don't know. You're on the road. You don't know there's a battlefield right there that 10,000 people died at, and all of a sudden you're enveloped in that energy, right? So I stay away from those battlefields up in Maryland, or all the way down through Virginia and Tennessee and Kentucky, and I try to stay away from those.
I probably live on one. Great.
You probably do. You probably do.
Goody gumdrops. I did purposely mess around with some Civil War haints once. So Lawrenceville, Georgia, it is the second oldest city in the entire state of Georgia. Savannah's first, Lawrenceville is second. Lawrenceville is actually in the metropolitan Atlanta area. So, Halloween, that was also a full moon. I decided to go ghost hunting with some friends. Why not? So we go on a ghost tour of haunted tour of Lawrenceville. So after the tour, and a whole bunch of stuff happened. This is another tour where a whole bunch of stuff happened, and it freaked out the tour guide. And they're like, I've been doing this for years and never seen anything happen, blah, blah, blah. I'm used to it at this point. I'm like, whatever. So my crazy friends and I decided to go back to the cemetery and walk around the cemetery by ourselves and taking pictures. Because, what self-respecting weirdo doesn't go to a cemetery on Halloween during a full moon to take pictures of Confederate
I don't do that.
in the oldest cemetery in Lawrenceville, which happens to be the second oldest city in Georgia. So y'all already know what kind of the deck I'm working with. My elevator doesn't go all the way to the top floor sometimes when it comes to putting myself in those types of situations. So
here's what you don't do.
So I'm walking around and I have a digital camera and I'm just taking pictures. And I go to take a picture of graves because I wanted to look up the history of these people. And I'd go to take a picture and my camera would just stop working. My friend would go take a picture. Hers would work. By the way, I'm also, just for prosperity's sake, I'm the only African-American. They're all white. I'm the only black. That'll make that I promise you that there's a point to that in a minute. So they're going and their cameras work a little bit, but every time I go to take something, the camera would just stop working, or it would and it started getting really hot in my hand. So I'm thinking, oh, it's probably because I'm using it. And it got so hot to the point where I had to just put it in my bag. And then it started heating other things in my bag. So at this point, we're trying to take pictures, and then their cameras. One of my friends, this is the part that was weird. I mean, other than walking the cemetery. My friend goes to hug me, and then all of a sudden, her stuff stops working. So keep in mind, you see a white person hugging and consoling a black person now. So then the camera starts getting hot. So then, like, their camera stopped working. So I'm like, you know what? It's late. Let's just go get a snack. Let's go get, a little after hunting cocktail. So we go to this amazing bar, and we're telling the bartender, who had been a bartender for like 20 years, like, yeah, we went to the cemetery. And they're like,
exactly. Finally, somebody that understands.
And then I know what they wanted to go, I know they were looking at me, especially like, I was like, whatever. And I go, yeah, there were some really amazing old headstones. Like, God, I really wish I could show you the picture. And I go to take the camera out, turns on, works perfectly. And we're like, oh my God, we tried, but it wouldn't work. So here's what happens. They were like, oh yeah. So just to let you know, about 10 years ago, one of the main news stations in Atlanta is 11 Alive. 11 Alive Action News. So 11 Alive went to do a story in front of the cemetery. Same thing happened. It was a African-American, she was Black news anchor, and the two crew members were white. They would go and they're trying to get footage, and the cameras would stop working. Everything would stop working. So then they even tried to beam up to Scotty, because it's one of them old school trucks that had the little dome on top.
Beam up the Scotty.
They try to beam up the Scotty, and they can't even beam up the Scotty. And so one of the guys, he said that his camera, because he went and patted her on the back or something. He's like, but kind of like, you know what, Karen, let's go. Kind of like, let's do this. He said he went to touch stuff and it just got hot. It was scalding hot. Like, it happened to them too. That cemetery is like super, like a lot of stuff goes on. And we were like, oh, thank God. And I'm sitting there like, I thought my camera was broken. Because I was more irritated about the fact that I had this really nice new digital camera.
Oh my God.
Back in the day when DSLR like first was like hitting in these streets, and them things were like expensive. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Because I even changed the batteries while we were at the graveyard. And that's how I knew, like, this isn't working. Wow. Never dawned on me, hey, dummy.
It's the ghost.
It's the Haints, Hools, and Hobgoblins who don't like your Black behind, disrespecting them and taking pictures of their grave. Like, you probably should just leave. So
move along. Yeah.
That was the first and last time I purposely volunteered to mess with Confederate Haints.
No,
I'm good.
There's so much energy around those things. And somebody asked me what happened to the little boy in that group, and we were able to cross him over. We did cross him over, and I did cross most of his group over, whatever you want to call them. Not a battalion, but whatever they were. We crossed most of them over. I think there was just 3 that decided not to cross over. So they went up.
That's a hard thing too, to get people, even for me, still to understand is there is that karma, there is that contract. You cannot force them if they're not ready.
No, you can't. Mm-mm.
There's nothing you can do.
No.
There's absolutely nothing. I did not get anything with the pictures because the camera malfunctioned. One of my friends did. She was able to get 2 pictures, but they were so, she had the flash on too, but everything was just pitch black. Like, you saw like a little, try to be a sliver of light, but they were all like, you couldn't do anything with them.
Dang.
Yeah, we couldn't get any pictures. I have another question for you. So let's talk about mediumship and when we are hired to communicate with someone's loved one. I know Jen Lynn does it, who's in the chat. Tell some people about first of all, what are the typical questions you get when people ask you to do a mediumship?
I think they're very typical. So is he or she okay? Right. Tell her I love her. Tell him I love him. Um, they just want to make sure they're okay. Number one, that maybe they're not suffering anymore from whatever they had on this side, or suffering from their death, or are they okay over there? And then I think some of the other questions are they with me? Do they visit me? Or was that them, right? When I smelled cigarette smoke, or I smelled a cologne or whatever, was that them? So yeah, they ask those kinds of questions. Sometimes, I don't know if this has ever happened to you guys, but sometimes I get hired, or I'm hired as a medium, and I don't know what you're going to ask. I don't know, and they want me to do things like, oh gosh, this is actually funny. Has this happened to you guys? So you can't get, so let's say you're calling up dad, and I'm calling dad over there, and dad's not answering. dad is there, but he's not talking. And I'm like, oh, is he quiet? Oh no, he's not quiet. Well, he's quiet today. I wonder why. Well, now I'm starting to catch on. If dad is quiet, he's not normally quiet. He don't want to talk to you about what you want to talk to him about. And he knows what that is.
Yep.
He knows what that is. It's either a girlfriend. No kidding. It's an inheritance. It's favoritism. It's questions around how he might have died, right? And sometimes that has to do with the girlfriend. So that's pretty interesting. And you're in the middle, and this person the daughter's mad, right? And he is like, I'm not answering my daughter. I'm not answering her. I'm her parent, and I don't have to answer that, And so I'm in the middle trying to, negotiate that. So it can be pretty interesting. Pretty interesting.
Tough. I've had to break some unfortunate news to a client. I had a client who found out about their lineage, and finding out there was they were. I'm trying to think of how much of the story I want to tell, so I'm going to be very respectful of this client. But basically found out there was kind of like a Sally Hemings, George Washington, right? Sally Hemings situation. And her perception of the situation was that they were in love. And that usually, even historically speaking, we all know that normally that is 99.99999% of the time. Biracial children during the slave era was a force of rape. And it was very interesting because normally when I do mediumship, they don't typically come into my house like this. And she came and sat right down next to me because I was doing it at my dining room table. And she just was so calm. And she just sat there with her arms crossed. And she's just listening to us. And I'm trying to find the words. And she just looked, and she never said a word. She just went. And I knew what that meant. And I had to go, well, ma'am, I hate to say, I need to let you know that this was not what you think it is. She was raped multiple times. And just to see this, the entity, her peace. And it was like, she could finally just it was very peaceful. And it was hard because the client was pretty devastated. But it helped the spirit. I could just see her just because she has to watch her descendants think something that was a bold lie. And that was very interesting. And the client's fine. Now we've communicated. That's why I want to be very respectful of this client. We have kept in touch, and I've done readings for her subsequently, and she's at peace with it. But it was just that was hard to do. That was very hard because I'm like, and I even remember I called someone after and was like, did I do the right thing? And they're like, yeah. I was like, I feel so off. I feel so conflicted, but yeah, that's tough. It can get tough.
She gave you the okay from the other side, right?
Yeah.
And that when that happens, you have to honor. I feel like I have to honor them. Right. If I don't tell my client everything, I'm not honoring my ability. And then I feel like it's at risk of of, since I'm not honoring it, it could be taken from me or it could go away. Right.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. I had not the same thing, but this young lady that I read for, who was on the other side, her mom was looking at me like with those mom eyes, like you can't tell a lie. She was like, how did my daughter die?
Yeah.
And I was like, and her daughter on the other side said, you have to tell her the truth. And I'm like, I didn't want to, it's one of my first readings. Right. And I'm like, oh my God, do we have to really tell her? Because really the boyfriend accidentally killed her with drugs. He was going to put some extra something and that's what but that's not what the family thought happened. Right. So yeah, it can be hard. It can be hard. And you have to just, I like you did, you listen to the people on the other side and you do what honors them.
I do have a good story, a funny story about mediumship. It's one of my favorites. Because I thought, I'm sorry. I'm old. Forgive me, y'all. I'm old and I have the arthritis. And so I had to
We're all friends.
Arthur was starting to kick in, so I had to switch. I had to switch hips. Y'all, women 40 and up. Well, I'm not 40 quite yet. I'm working on it. Sometimes you got to switch the hip, put a little pressure on the other side of the booty cheek to even things out. Okay. This is when I lived in Atlanta, and I can tell the story. I can tell everybody's names because I've had permission to tell the story. My sister lived in a part of Atlanta where I would have to get on the freeway at a particular exit. I had multiple exit options, but there was one in particular called South Atlanta Road. 285, get on South Atlanta Road, leaving like Austell, Smyrna. Those of you in the ATL, you know what that area I'm talking about. So during the summer, I would get on the freeway and I would hear the name Ida. I'm like, Ida? Okay. And for about 2 months, every time, and I was seeing my sister a lot this period. We're doing something with family. I don't know. So I was out of her house like every weekend or every other weekend. Every time I'd get on that exit, Ida. And I would get pictures and I would see purple cross-stitch flowers. And I'm like, this is so weird. Okay. And I just keep hearing, I love you. I love you from Ida. And I see Ida and she's this old white lady with brown hair, cross-stitch flowers. And so after the fourth time, I'm like, okay, she's clearly got a message for someone. So Susan, it got to the point where like I was in the grocery store and I'd walk up to random white people and be like, I'm so sorry to bother you. Do you know an Ida? Really? It was bothering me. It was bothering me. And then I would go, and then I would start purposely grocery shopping in my sister's area. And it would just walk up to people with brown hair and be like, do you know an Ida? And they're like, no, crazy.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Insane. And after 2.5 months, so keep in mind this, because that would be right. That's like July. We get to like September. And I'm just like, I'm going crazy because she would not let it go. And I'm like, it's like that mystery, like, who's Ida? Who is Ida? So I'm at work one day. And I have this chair that's like next to my desk. And my friend Marnie, who I'm a ghost hunter with, Marnie comes and sits down at my desk. And I look at Marnie and I went, do you know an Ida? She goes, yeah, that's my grandmother. I go, oh, thank God. I have a message for you.
Oh my God.
It was you this entire time. I was like, okay, before I cuss you out for letting me hang on this long, I was like, okay, by the way, she loves you. There's something about it. There's something with purple cross-stitch flowers. I don't know what the hell that means, but she loves you. Purple cross-stitch flowers. She goes, Adrienne, by the way, nobody knew her name was Ida. Only the family called her Ida. Her real name was Nancy.
And that's a really different name. Nancy and Ida is a very different
name. And I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. So, and she goes, by the way, and I'm telling her, I was like, every time I go off 285 at South Atlanta Road, she goes, South Atlanta Road? I go, yeah. She goes, what part of 285 is, if you're going towards, south? She goes, yeah, if you go cross over the bridge, like as you turn to the bridge, you go on the freeway, cross over the bridge, there's a neighborhood back there. That's where she lived. It's like, oh, okay. Done. Did my job. Did my message. Got the message.
That's fantastic. She came out of her neighborhood and connected with your energy on the freeway.
Mm-hmm. as I'm turning on the freeway and stayed with me while I'm going down the freeway for multiple weeks. Because she knows that Marnie's my homegirl. And Marnie is going to know if I tell her Ida, Marnie's the one who hired me, by the way. She knew before I did that I was a medium. I never embraced it, acknowledged it. And she's like, yeah, you're a medium. We're going to use you. Hi. So here's where the story gets more interesting.
For real?
So, yes. Marnie goes home. It's like 5, 6 o'clock at night. She sends me a text message. And her face is like completely red. She took a selfie and I'm like, why is your face red? What's going on? And she goes, Adrienne, I forgot that today makes 25 years that she's been dead. It was like someday in September, it was 25 years.
Anniversary.
Then she sent me a picture of this framed cross stitch that Ida had made. Oh. There were multiple flowers. It wasn't just purple, but for some reason I got the lilac-y purple, but there was a lot of flowers. Marnie said that had been on her nightstand or her dresser for years. She said never until then did she think to open it up and look at it. And when she opened it up, a piece of paper fell out. And it was a letter from Ida dated in like, if that was 25 years, it would have been like the 70s, like late 70s or something like that. Telling Marnie that like, you know, you're my firstborn. I will always love you. You're my favorite. If you ever need me, I am only like a breath away. Always remember that I love you. Because Artie kept telling me, tell Marnie I love her. And Marnie said she had been feeling really low and really been missing her, but couldn't figure out why. And it just all came together. So I was just like, oh, that's like one of my favorite experiences.
That is an amazing story. Yeah. Honestly, on like so many levels. On so many levels. That is amazing.
It was weird. I was like, oh, the relief. I still like when I tell the story, I still feel the relief I had going, oh, thank God it's you. Okay. There's somebody has a message.
You were asking people in the grocery store. Did you tell her, you know, I've been asking people down at the grocery store. I did.
She was cracking up. I was like, you don't understand how badly that bothered me that I could not find whoever I needed to give this message to. Because Ida was like, would not let me go. She was like, I need you to give her. And I was like, of all the people in the world, it's the person who knows me and truly believes in what I have, who wouldn't even second guess it. So it was just
amazing.
That's like I love Ida.
That is an amazing story. Thank you for sharing that. That is amazing.
Thank you for letting me share Miss Ida. First name's Nancy, nickname Ida. Do we want to let's open it up and answer questions. Let's go to the first one that we wrote down. And this one was, I believe, from Marie. She asked, can a neighbor with bad energy have that negative energy swirl into her property? You shaking your head? Yes. Go ahead and explain how and why.
Well, you don't think so? Have you not experienced that, Adrienne?
Oh, I 100. Literally, I make products to keep people's
I got my spray.
BS energy. Yes.
But you can't even get this, so you guys should order it from Adrienne. Adrienne sells that on her site.
Yes, I do believe. I was just cracking up because you were like, and I'm like, that's why I'm gonna let you go ahead and answer this one. Explain why, and tell people what to do to combat it if you don't.
Oh no, you can't give me all them. No. I'm
gonna tell you. I'm gonna help you. I got
Share the love, girlfriend. Okay. All I know is because a lot of us are empaths, right? So if we're an empath, we can feel energy, right? So a lot of it, we go through, as an empath, you go through life with your little feelers out all the time. And it's the same house that I've had all these other things with that I don't live at anymore. Guess why? I just knew that somebody was practicing like dark things. And my guides told me it was Santeria. And I'm like, I don't like this. And they told me it was not like, so if the house is facing me, it would have been like the house or the block on the next side. These houses were all from like the 30s, most of them. Yeah. So they're a little bit older, just very mixed up neighborhood with all kinds of people, college professors, auto mechanics. I mean, just everybody's up in there. And I could feel it, right? I mean, and my empath thing was just like ding, 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 ding. So, for me, what I did was I just put, white light protection around, you bring it into your body and then it comes out of your body. And then how I do it is it fills my room, it fills my house, it obviously fills everybody who's in the house with me. And then I just let it emanate out of my neighborhood, right? I watch it as it's like fog, as it goes through the neighborhood, through all my neighbors, and then it goes through, the whole state and then the whole world. That way everybody gets blessed, right? So that's what I would do. But you can still kind of feel it. What do you think, Adrienne?
I'm going to do there's a couple different things. And it's funny because my friend, we we do this because we both live in multi-dwelling units. So we do this with our neighbors sometimes. What you can do too is arm your perimeter with, I believe it's white salt.
Yeah. Yeah, you can.
White salts. And so I'm going to find the one that I use. I'm going to put it in not white salt, black salt. I think it's black salt. Hold on.
I've used white salt. I've never used, can you get black salt?
Yes, it is for protection. Black salt. Come on, black salt. Yes. Okay, I'm going to put a link to the one. Hold on. Amazon, don't lie, because I bought this like 2 weeks ago. Stop being rude. Stop being rude. Okay, here we go. I'm putting this one in the link. Yes, this one is pretty good. It's not BS. Of course I have 7 too many characters. That's so disrespectful.
So for you guys, while Adrienne's doing this, somebody was saying, don't burn sage in an apartment building. That's probably a really good point. And that's why we use spray, right? This is homemade spray.
You just have to open windows.
Yeah, open your windows. Adrienne sells spray, but this you can take to work, right? It doesn't smell particularly crazy. So you could actually spray your office or your chair or whatever.
This is the one I know that works. Okay, come on, YouTube. I know it's okay. I'm going to play with this in a minute. Yes, you can. Black salt, if you just Amazon. Okay, I want to get you the particular one though, because this one's really good. There's got to be a way.
So what's the difference? Do you know the difference between black and white salt? Because I've used white salt and it does work. Like if you sprinkle white salt on your threshold and, you say that nobody can enter this house that doesn't have my highest good, and you might be surprised when, your brother-in-law can't get in the door. Just saying.
Guys, copy and paste that. See if that works. I took out the HTTPS because, that's just the security part of it, but that should take you directly to it. The black aspect of the black salt, it has got additives in it that are particularly for protection.
Cool.
It works. I have done this in a couple of different apartments. That works. There's also, a couple people had asked, and I had put a link to this in the last live we did. There is the Archangel Michael safety sphere. There's an Archangel Michael prayer that you can pray and activate to activate your safety sphere. When you're taught what is a safety sphere in shamanic practices, that is your east, north, south, west. It is your actual grid, your bubble of your medicine wheel that you get in for protection, for safety. So when you say I'm activating my safety sphere, that's part of what that whole act is. Yes, other people's stanky, funky, dirty, nasty, grimy, grotesque, and busted energy can penetrate yours. That's why you just got to find ways to put your armor around you. So I hope that helped, Marie. Okay, so let's talk about the slow motion out of her body.
Yeah, I hope she's still here because I need to understand that. Thank you, Marie Henson. That's awesome.
Marie.
You can also do you use Palo Santo?
I do. I can't remember if it's the protection spray or the clearing spray. One of them, I actually make a Palo Santo water base.
Oh, you do?
And that's part of it that's in there. I would hate to be Stephen Miller. I hate you, Jen Lynn. I would hate to be Stephen Miller's neighbor too. I would. I do use Palo Santo. Palo Santo is different from, and So let's talk about the classifications of sage too.
Okay, let's do it.
Because there are different forms of sage. White sage, which is coming from, indigenous native lands. It's usually grown in Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, some parts of Southern California, has a particular smell. The white sage is the one that is actually going to clear negative energy. White sage, think of white sage, clears negative energy. There is also a lavender smudge, which just kind of it heightens your intuition. Think of lavender, think of third eye, think of heightening intuition. Okay. There is just various forms of sage. So just be careful when you pick up a smudge stick and you're thinking you're banishing negative entities. You may not be banishing anything. It may just be inviting more things in, because there's also different forms of sage that also are attract. What it is, it's.
Are you kidding me?
Yes, there are certain, but they're using rituals, particularly shamanic rituals or ancient native rituals. Actually, some of my cousins use a form of sage when we go do powwow that actually calls in ancestral spirits. But when you use it, there's a whole practice involved. So when you're doing it and you use sage, you are actually only calling in the ancestors. All other energy is repelled. But if you do not do that, then you're just inviting him, Ha, Biba, and Ricky into your house. You may not want to do that. So I always tell clients, white sage.
I got to find my sage. I got to make sure I got the right sage.
When you sage, hold on a sec. Am I wearing appropriate pants? So if I stand up, okay.
You wearing PJs?
I was like, am I wearing? So I call this my own personal Holy Trinity. I use this when I work on clients because I need to activate and clear. This is white sage. It's always going to look kind of weird. It's going to be in this weird little bundle. It's going to look like almost like a little tulip. This is white sage. When you sage, first and foremost, you have to sage yourself first. Clear yourself first before you clear the area. I had a client who was just saging the house and shamanana, shudabada hunda, but couldn't figure out why nothing was working. And it was like, you gotta clear your funky energy first, boo-boo, and then clear everything else. And she's like, oh my God, that makes sense. Nobody ever taught me that. I was like, yes. Now, use your white sage. I always start from the top and work my way down, almost like a crucifix.
It is, yeah, it is.
The power of Christ compels you. But
hey.
And I also get the back. I start with that first. Make sure your windows are open. Otherwise, not only is your house going to smell like white sage. I like white sage, but some people, it does kind of smell like, I'm going to be very honest, like marijuana. It does have a very particular smell. So if you don't want people thinking that you're lighting up, instead of lighting up, make sure your windows are open. The other reason you need to have your windows open, the whole point of saging is to clear negative energy. That negative energy needs to go somewhere. You need to direct it out of your house, which is why you have to have the windows open. When I lived on the 29th floor in Dallas, Texas, I could not sage because my windows were not open. So me and the clearing spray became very good friends. The clearing spray also has white sage leaves in it as an additional protection. So this is white sage. That's your friend. This is what's going to clear negative energy. Then if you want to just neutralize energy, kind of start with a clear slate. This is when you get your Palo Santo.
Oh, okay.
What does marijuana smell like? Apparently, I think it stinks to high hell. I feel like it's a skunk that farted and went rancid.
I don't think it smells like that, y'all. I'm telling you, right? I mean, dang, that's some bad stink right there. I don't know if it smells that bad, but okay.
I hate the way it smells, and I'm sorry. I was in DC yesterday. Granted, I live like 2 seconds from DC, but every time I'm in DC, as soon as I get out of my car, I'm like, yes, legal is, yes, I'm reminded that weed is tolerated here because I just got a freaking contact eye because that's all you smell when you're in DC. It smells like a skunk farted and sprayed you at the same time.
Oh my God.
Okay. So to neutralize, Palo Santo. I will usually use this.
I'm glad we're talking about this.
If I had a rough night, dream rough night, I would burn this by my bed. Because what the thing about both of these don't necessarily leave a smell that lingers, but especially Palo Santo, it doesn't. Once it burns, it's done. And you're not going to really smell it much longer. And it doesn't smell like a skunk who's turned his booty hole up to you and farted on you.
So this is neutralizing. So Palo Santo's neutralizing.
Palo Santo neutralizing.
Okay.
Clearing, kind of neutralizing.
Okay.
I always follow with sweetgrass. Sweetgrass uplifts and brings in positive.
I've always been wondering that. Cool.
So that's why I do the Holy Trinity. Clear it, neutralize whatever is in my house, starting from the clean slate, and then bringing in positive. And that's it. That was the crash course that you all got on your saging devices.
So I want to talk about, so to get rid of energies in your house, I have two things I want to add to that.
Go ahead, please.
I had a client who could go and get 2 bathrooms, the story, like he could go in his bathroom and because the energy was so bad in there. And then his wife made fun of him and then she couldn't go in there. So by that time he felt safe calling. So when I went to his house, I couldn't go in the bathroom. I mean, it's like your feet just stop. And you're like, I'm not going, you know? And my guides told me to put a water fountain. This is just a tabletop water fountain. It doesn't have to be, you know, anything. It doesn't have to look like this. And I put this tabletop water fountain in their house outside of the bathroom. And we ran it. They ran it for about 2 weeks. Gone. The water disrupts energy. It raises the vibration. And this woman, the wife, she could not stand this thing. It made her have to pee all the time. She could not wait to get rid of it. So she gave it to me. She was like, take it.
Get this out of my house.
Yeah. And it worked. It really did. It for whatever it did to that entity in that bathroom, it didn't like it and it moved on. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Probably not something I would have tried or known about had my spirit guides not told me. And then look at this steel tongue drum that I have.
Yes.
Have you guys played with these?
I have one that I loaned to a friend because I hadn't used him in like 2 years. Sorry. His name is Hector. He used to get pissed. So she wants a hand pan, and to convince her wife to get her a hand pan, I let her borrow Hector for 6 months. It only took 2 months of her playing Hector all the time. Her wife bought her a hand pan. I was like, yeah.
Yes.
And
it
then
raises the vibration of your place.
Mm-hmm.
I have this in between sessions.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Just to clear the energy and raise the vibration up.
I have one that I ordered through one of my mentors and my shamanic teacher, Jody Roberts. I think she's in a chat. That is chakra based, that you can use if you are to help tune people's chakras. So hopefully mine will show up in the next couple weeks.
Somebody wanted to know what kind. It's a steel tongue. It's called the steel tongue, and it has these weird little, things. But
there's so much fun to play.
It's just beautiful. You can't. I'm not musical, and I when I get like, if I have really a bad day, I'm like. But anyway.
I'm actually going to put one in the chat. This was the one that's very similar to hers and almost identical to the one that I have that my friend let me borrow. This one comes in 3 different sizes, which I like because you can get it based off your price range: a 6-inch, an 8-inch, and a 10-inch. Keep in mind, 10 inches is going to be this big. They're not very
So big. Is this like a 10-inch maybe?
Yeah, that's actually probably 12.
Okay.
Of the 14. That's pretty
So it has a hole in the bottom and.
Oh, good. The whole link fits. Yay.
Yay.
Oh, good. Yeah. So that one's really, those are really fun. Those are good. Can I add something to your water treatment recommendation?
Please do.
So directional feng shui is my thing. Yes. Every Lunar New Year, I'm moving all the crap around in my house to go with the okay, that's not fair. I'm moving all the cures around in my house because my furniture has to just stay where it is. There is a principle of directional feng shui. There is a couple of different cardinal signs where if they're in rooms that you frequent often, will just bring negative energy. One is the misfortune and robbery. There's another one. Oh my gosh, I don't know why my brain's going blank. But what I always do, if those are areas like in my kitchen, because you know, I'm a big girl, I'm always in the kitchen. If there's one that's in my bedroom, what I've done is doing a water treatment as well. Same thing, you can take a bowl of water, put some rock salt, like the salt that you use to make ice cream, put that at the base and just put it in a corner in the room. And that attracts all the negative energy. Oh, wow. Change it out about you can do a month, just depending on how long it takes to evaporate. But the thing is, you never want it to let it completely evaporate. I would change out about every 2 weeks. What I would do is either pour it over the balcony. Yes, I was on the 4th floor and my downstairs neighbors hated me when I would do that. Or flush it down the toilet. Whatever you want to do, it needs to like go away.
It has to get out. Okay.
Don't let that.
Because something is in there. I mean, basically that's like a filter, right? Mm-hmm. And so you need to remove that, whatever that is.
Rock salt. Yes, Jazzy. I used to get the, what is it? The Morton's rock salt with the little girl, those thick chunks of rock salt. It's like $2 a box. Wow. Get that. And then I would pour out the salt, or I would actually use the same salt. So I don't think it mattered. And I would spray a little bit of Florida water just because I'm extra, and then do water treatments. And this is how I even got into directional feng shui. I swear on everything, Buddha, Krishna, Ganesha, Allah, Muhammad, Jesus, everybody, that it works. It works.
You know, you're going to have to do another video. You're going to have to just do a video on directional feng shui.
I actually am working on my official certification so I can start charging people to do this, because I just think it is fast. There's some people who change out. Like I have a friend who actually got me into it years ago. Like she'll change out her house because you know the directions change. It's not just a lunar year. It's like every couple months. I'm sorry, I don't have time for that. I'm a bougie woman. I got a lot of furniture. I'm also not about to try to move my bedroom into the dining room. That's just weird. But I keep my cures. I keep my cures on deck and on stock. Somebody just asked about Florida water. Let's talk about Florida water.
I don't even know what that is either. I'm like, oh no.
Florida water. First and foremost, they call it a cologne because they can't say that it has any healing properties. Just know that that's a lie. It is the most magical thing in the world. Most of my products have an element of Florida water in it. To me, you can even diffuse it. It smells amazing because it is a cologne. But basically, Florida water is another clearing agent. It does, however, have a lot of alcohol in it, so it is very drying. So there's a full moon ritual where you can take a clearing bath, and one of the clearing bath ingredients is Florida water. Be careful, especially women, because again, number one, it's very drying. Number two, I'm very conscientious about anything that I put in my nether regions because I don't want to give myself, as my sister calls it, the crotch crickets.
Did you guys hear her? Did you guys hear what she called it? Okay. A whole new term.
I hate my sister, but you know.
Hey, I like it. I think it has a meaning.
It's gross, but also not as gross as calling it what the technical name if it, you know. Okay.
Look, Shay is down here saying, I bathe with it and I'm fine.
Okay, so Shay has the crotch of steel, thank God. I do not.
And you know what? I don't want to find out. I don't want to find out if it's steel or not.
You can put some, again, I put some in there, but I dilute it. I don't have a lot because what I'm trying to warn everybody is if you go on Pinterest, if you start looking up bath rituals for full moon, they'll kind of tell you to try to put a whole bottle.
Don't do that. Okay.
And it's just primarily because it's so drying. It is very drying, but I love Florida water. Again, most of my products have some amount of Florida water in it. I also put an oil base and some other things. So if you use it on your skin or spray it, it's not going to dry you out.
Right.
I'm trying to find. There's also a Florida water soap, and I use the Florida water soap after every time I do a Reiki treatment, because you have to ground yourself by washing your hands, and I wash my hands with the Florida water soap. I'm going to find a good Florida water for you guys.
I want to find out. Jen Lynn has been laughing emojis the entire time. I think somebody should check on her. She might be incapacitated on the floor. There's no telling what's going on over there.
I just want Jen Lynn to know, and all of you to know, I was in a Marshall's. I snuck out of the house. I had on 2 masks and went to Marshall's because I was like, gosh, dog it. It was something I wanted from Marshall's. I was like, I'm going to break my quarantine rule. My stupid A sister asked me a question about something. And she goes, hey, because she's trying to get me to start making bubble bath. And I'm like, dude, to make an organic bubble bath, it's not going to foam up the way you want it because you have to use a whole bunch of products, non-healthy products in it. She goes, she's texting me back. As she texts me back, she goes, it's a good point because the last thing I want you to do is get sued for giving somebody the crotch crickets.
Oh, no, not that again. Not that again. Does this woman have children? Does she have girls?
She has a girl, yes.
They're going to school going, you're going to get the crotch crickets.
I'm gonna get the crotch crickets.
And then what's going to happen? What's going to happen when she says that in PE? It's not going to be pretty.
I need everybody to know I lost my entire shoot crap poo. I'm screaming, I'm laughing so loud, and everybody in the store is like, what is wrong? I'm like, crotch crickets!
Hey, you know what? People distanced from you, didn't they? They gave you that extra feet. They're like, whoo.
God, that was and now I try to find an excuse every time I see crotch crickets. She's also the person who calls a woman's situation a cooch hanger. Please don't ask me. What?
Thank God, there's no men on this. I mean, oh no, there is. Donald, I'm so sorry. God bless you. I'm sorry, men. It's just this, you with the women, you are surrounded by estrogen. It's going to be okay. Uh-oh, did you hang up on me? Am I hung up? Are we still going? Looks like Adrian, you hung up. Uh-oh.
Oh, hold on.
When your energy gets big, your camera's like, out.
And it's also my.
Uh-oh. She gone again. Come on, girl. Come back. Come back. I know she's frozen. They don't win. Adrian got the crotch crickets, came and got her. Oh, no. Come on. Come on, Adrian. Come back. I know. Oh, my gosh. Am I frozen too, you guys, or is it just Adrian? Adrian. I need to spray some spray on her. Come back. God bless her. No. Oh, man, she's gone. I don't know how to get her back, you guys. I think she'll come back. Oh my God. I hope you guys are enjoying this. Do you have any other questions for us that don't involve crotch crickets? She's going to pop back in. She's the administrator. So she hopefully can pop right back in here. Poltergeist. The Haints got her. No, you guys, she has a story I really want her to tell you guys. And it's scary. It's really scary. Like, she's really a ghost hunter. Like, she goes out looking for ghosts. Like, who would do that, right? So these ghosts, here she comes. Girl, crotch crickets, gotcha.
That's what I get for talking about the crotch crickets and cooch hangers.
Yeah.
That's what I get for
That's the one that did it in. Are you going to tell them about the one more ghost story about how the EVP machine?
I can. I blocked some of it out because it was traumatic.
and then we'll do whatever you guys want to do. I don't know how long you want to go, but I'm good.
I'm having so much fun. So someone's tell me to stop. Yeah. So we go to this house in North Georgia. It's near Rome. It's like a little town outside of Rome, Georgia. Rome, Georgia is northwest of Atlanta. Absolutely beautiful area. It's this old house. Renee, the crotch crickets took me away. I can't. So we got hired by this younger. She was at the time like in her early mid 30s. She just inherited a house from like a great aunt or something, and she's like, "Yo, she could already tell. She just had an eerie feeling every time she went into the house. She was going to. She wanted us to kind of do an inspection first to see if it was haunted, to confirm basically that it was haunted, and did she need to hire a paranormal expert? At the time, we're more ghost hunters. We were not the paranormal removal team, but we knew people that we would refer them to. So we were kind of like the middle ground. And so as soon as we drive up, my friend, remember Marnie, who's Ida's granddaughter?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We drive up and Marnie's like, "Oh no, I want to do this." And we're like,
"That's me." We were in the car going.
We were like, Marnie, we charged her all like it was a pretty big retainer. At least we thought it was big back in the day. We were like, because here's the other thing too. We all had already spent our part of the retainer, so we were like, I learned then. If a client needs money on retainer, you put it in a separate account. You don't touch it just in case. I learned that lesson then. So we were like, dude, we already know we got to do this. Clarissa, who does not, that's not her real name. Clarissa just doesn't tell anybody what she does. She doesn't tell anybody she's part of this, so she uses a pseudonym. So Clarissa was like, I use that for my car payment, boo-boo. And Jordan's like, we needed braces last week. Like, that was the deal. Like, no, we have to do this. We need money. And Marty's not normally like this. Marty just crosses her arms. She goes, "Well, then I'm sitting in the car." And we're like, "You can't sit in the car? What are you going to sit in the car the whole night?" Like, no. So we somehow con Marnie into going in. But Marnie's like, y'all, I'm telling you, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And we're like, okay, cool. So we are like, okay, we go in and we just felt heavy. Like, it's just this. And to me, I have, what is it? I'm not quite like Ona's tarot, where Ona has, she's got synesthesia. I have a very heightened sense of smell. It's ridiculous. So I'm smelling things that I'm writing down, and I'm telling them, like, I smell this, I smell that. And so somehow we blamed Marnie because she was just being the jerk in the corner. It's like, I don't want to do this. So Marnie really honestly she wouldn't do much the entire night. She just sat in the corner and was like, I want to be here. And we're like, you can't say that in front of the client. Like, in front of the client. Oh my God. All I know is I'm upstairs with someone, and we hear this. We hear Marnie cussing, ooh, and she stops. So we run down the stairs like, what happened? Did you get it on the camera? Did you get everything? And she's like, I want to talk. She goes, all Marnie did was goes, I'm ready to go.
She said she's ready to go?
That's all she did. She's turned her head and said, I'm ready to go. We have 4 more hours. We have to go. And so somehow, and it happened when all of our backs were turned. We were so focused on something, so we saw an orb. You see it out of the corner of your eye. You see the EVP do this and it go. And it was on a coffee table, not a coffee table, a side table. And you see it kind of actually lift up a little bit.
In the air.
And then go
right
on the ground.
And drop.
Y'all don't know, these things are not cheap. A good EVP is not cheap. So first we saw money go down the drain. We also saw the fact that we should not have pre-spent the retainer money because we were going to have to buy a new EVP. The third thing we saw is the money we're going to get to close out the job. That now has to go to buy a new EVP. The fourth thing we saw is we really should add in our contract that if any of our equipment breaks, we may have to charge you more. And then the fifth thing we saw was the back of Marnie's heels running outside to her car because she was gone. She was gone. to this day, we have whatever was in that house. We only have our memory. It fogged all of our machines. Nothing worked. Even when you picked up the EVP, it never clocked whatever happened to throw it off, because it should have spiked. It should have gone off the charts. Nothing happened. No footage, nothing. We just have the stories from that. And we all took we took about a 2-month break after that. Yeah.
So did you have to call somebody else in to get rid of that thing? And did somebody get rid of it?
We had to. Now, here's the part of the story I don't know, because that's also one of that was towards the end, because I had moved to Texas not too far after. I had done 2 more hunts with them, but they were in cemeteries after that. So I never really followed up. I know we gave her the name of the people that we recommended who were also in North Georgia. I'm assuming they went, but to this day, I don't know, because even when I asked Marnie, I can call that heifer right now and be like, Marnie, remember Rome? I don't want to talk about it. I just remember her sitting her ass on the couch going, I'm like, no. She was pissed. She was so upset in the car. I don't want to do this. It was just, I will tell you, of all of the places I've been, that smelled the worst. It smelled so bad. And it would be different. It smelled like rotting sewage. It just smelled bad cabbage. Like when you cook cabbage and you leave it for a while and it just smelled. I've never smelled death, knock on wood, thank God. But I would go to, and it would just and it would catch you off guard, because you'd be breathing, and because it would just come so quick. And as soon as it came, it would go away. Yeah, that was Rome. It's more skunk farts. It's more of I don't know what caused that thing to get thrown in the air. Well, I mean, we know what it was. I think there was poltergeist.
So what's the difference between a poltergeist and a ghost?
Poltergeist are actual horrible. So there's different dimensions. I would say poltergeist are part of that 4th dimensional nasty, gross energy that are actually here to provoke, to cause ill. They feed off of that energy as well. That's why I always tell people, I don't necessarily have the false bravado when I go in and I'm not scared of anything. I do it because I know that if I'm afraid, it's going to feed off of that. I have to raise my vibration and be higher. Some poltergeist karma can physically harm you. That's kind of rare. Normally what they do is they do things to either make you hurt yourself because they lower your vibration so low, or they would infect things like a lamp or some inanimate object that can go and harm you. Poltergeists are not actually that common. People think because of media and movies and whatever, and these ghost shows that are out, that they're they exist, but they're not on every street corner like they would have you to believe. And it's a very particular type of energy. So that's the difference. And because some ghosts are not pleasant, but it doesn't make them a poltergeist.
Right.
Poltergeist
Right.
Was a really good question. What other questions came up while
while you were on timeout?
Yes. Which one can scratch you? There are some benign ghosts that can. I have had a not negative entity scratch me. It was accidental. I'm trying to get my attention, and I did something that caused a scratch. So it's not always. It could be a nice entity who just really wants your attention. They need your help and want to tell you something that can cause that. But again, that's still rare. Because the thing I want you to understand is it takes for them to come in any kind of energy form where you can see, feel, touch, smell. That takes so much energy. And a lot of them also don't necessarily know how to do it either.
And that's why if somebody does have that much energy, right? If you do encounter something like that, then you have to understand that they have a lot of energy, right? So you need to take that seriously. If you walk into your house and something is floating, or something has moved something, that's your indication that that's a very strong energy, right?
It
so
really wants to get in touch.
be serious about that.
Yeah, it has taken a lot of it's used a lot of energy, because remember, energy does not dissipate, it transfers. So it has gathered a lot of energy to try to get your attention.
Right. So there's two questions, the dropping marbles and the pulling of the hair, that I wanted to
go into it, ma'am. Set it off.
Well, I mean, dropping marbles that's a typical ghost thing where they'll make you hear sounds. Like I had a neighbor who, she got attached to her ghost. I mean, she could sense that it was a young lady, and her husband was an engineer, so he didn't believe any of this. And so he would always tell me, and we both had Victorian houses over 100 years old, and he would always tell me, she's making things up. It's just her romanticizing the Victorian house, whatever. Mm-hmm. One day he came flying out of his house, and I was doing yard work, and he flew right past me. And I was like, what happened? And he said, a chandelier just fell and broke in our house.
Yeah.
But when I went up there, the chandelier was still hanging, but I heard it. I heard shards of glass. I heard it. I know it happened, but there's no nothing, right? There's no nothing. And he left his wife and ran. You can hear things, they can, like people always hear footsteps, or they hear like the creaky door, or, your name. I mean, it depends, right? Some of those people could be your crossed over loved one. They could be your crossed over relatives. My dad is a prankster, right? So he loves to make the smoke alarm go off. I take the batteries out. He still makes it go off without the batteries in it. So that's a pretty good indication that that's a ghost.
My mom did that once. Shitty. I'm sorry. I have to call him by his full name. Shitty booty ass Deltron. Deltron. God dang it. I have so many poo stories about Deltron. Deltron came to visit me in Dallas once. Oh, Adrian, I got off the plane. Then I want to go to Jack in the Box. Some Jack in the Box. I knew when he was eating all that Jack in the Box that it was going to come in. It was going to have to come out at some point. Came out. He's in the bathroom. And he's like, you got some candles? I'm like, oh, God.
So this is a real person, not a ghost.
This is a real person.
Okay.
It's a real person. He's like, I'm like, oh, great. You've been in my house for 10 minutes and you're already blowing up the bathroom. Okay. So he strikes matches, whatever. Flash forward a couple hours later, we go to bed. I hear the fire alarm go off. And I jump out of my room and I'm running through the house. And I'm like, oh my God. And it woke up, him and our other friend. And they're like, and I go, guys, go. And I'm thinking, because this is when I lived on the 29th floor. And I'm like, God, we got to walk down 29 flights of stairs.
Oh my gosh.
2 o'clock in the morning. And I go, hold on. And I go, let's see what my neighbors are doing. And I go out in the hallway. The fire alarm's not going off. It's just only going off in my bedroom or my house. And it's not the smoke alarm. It's the actual building fire alarm that we're hearing. And I'm like, that's so weird. And I walk back in the house and go, guys, Deltron? He goes, yeah. I go, did you blow out a candle? He goes, I go, that same candle that you lit 6 hours ago, did you leave that burning in my bathroom? He goes, he had left the candle burning in the bathroom.
Oh, wow.
That was nothing but my mother waking us up. So this little fool, shitty booty ass Deltron didn't burn down my whole house.
So your mother was actually warning you by making that go off. That happens a lot.
She woke all of us up.
That happens a lot. I've heard that story more than once, that the alarm goes off and it's not, it doesn't have batteries in it, but there's really a fire or there's really something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And somebody wanted to talk about mirrors, because I am having a problem with a mirror that's in my office that's right there. And I only know because what my guides tell me, but you probably know for real, Adrian. So, energies can get in those mirrors, right? And see you. I mean, it's almost like a way for them to spy on you.
Mm-hmm. They reflect. So from a function, is there a window in that same room?
There's like patio doors right there. Oh, there's windows right there across from the mirror.
Of course. Yeah. You're not supposed to ever have a mirror directly across from
You got to go.
window. It will reflect whatever energy is outside into the house. So, and this is a good lesson for everyone. If you have a mirror, the mirror cannot face you. Two things. You can, this is going to sound dumb. You cannot see your reflection in the mirror. Hold on a second. Bear with me. That is if you were sitting down, laying down, whatever, you should not be able to see yourself in that mirror. A mirror is only for looking at yourself to check yourself before you leave the house. There's a whole bunch of, this goes back ancient. This is all part of the feng shui. So make sure that it doesn't face you in a way. If you're sitting on the couch and you've got a beautiful decorative mirror and you can see yourself in that mirror, you need to tilt it some way so you cannot see yourself. Second thing, and most importantly, the mirror can never face a window. You're not supposed
That's how they come in, huh?
It reflects, all the energy is going to reflect, and it's going to bounce and magnify in that room with that mirror. The mirror is now the conduit, the magnifier for that energy. So move the mirror right behind, well, somewhere else other than across from that window.
I will tonight. Because I know something's in there. I'm looking at my computer, but I know something's in there looking at me.
Yeah.
It's disconcerting as all get out.
Mm-hmm. Something probably came in through those patio doors, and then now that mirror is reflecting it throughout the house.
No, you got to go.
Let's talk about EMF, electromagnetic frequency. Susan, what do you know about EMF?
I don't know anything.
Okay. Damn, Brian, I was really hoping we could tag team on this one. Okay.
You're going to have to carry the whole thing.
So EMF, electromagnetic frequency, going into different practices, particularly shamanic practice, because that's what I've trained. Humans put off EMF. That's just part because we are all energy. We put out EMF. And also little basic things like your cell phone, your mouse pad, your computer, your microphone, that all has energy and that emits EMF as well. It can disturb your natural energy. Things you should do is put some EMFs, break EMFs in your house, magnetic frequency reducers. A couple things you can do. There are certain crystals, once they're wrapped in copper, those are great EMFs. If you just go into Amazon and put EMF protectors, a whole bunch of things will come up. Himalayan sea salt lamps are also amazing EMF reducers. I have one, and you don't have to sleep with it underneath your pillow. Just put it next to something that has a lot of energy, like your computers, or put it next to. I have one in all the major rooms in my house. I actually have one that's next to my computer. And I turn it on when I use the computer, then turn it off when I'm not using the computer.
Oh, good idea.
I have this, I can say the name because she's not going to turn on. I have a big Amazon clock in my bathroom. I have an EMF next to her. Then I have one in my bedroom that's next to my TV and my other, said her name, Amazon device.
That's hilarious.
Great. I highly recommend, especially people who are on computers all day, do not sleep with this in your bed because this is emitting EMF and your body can absorb it. So just be mindful of that. So that's another good tip for people. And I also bring this up because remember earlier we said energy does not dissipate. It just transfers. Some entities, some energy, some spirits, hates, tools, and hobgoblins are attracted to EMF. So putting an EMF protector in your house is another good way to add to some of that safety sphere, that shielding for you.
They're attracted to our phone?
To energy that the phone puts out.
And we are sleeping with this next to our head. It's a ghost attractant?
I'm just trying to help.
That was worth the price of admission right there.
So just make sure. Airplane mode at night, unless it is turned off, it is still putting out, because it has to run. It's still running off of something. That's the whole point. Even when you're, I had another shaman teacher who her whole house was on surge protectors, and she would actually turn the surge protector off of everything at night, and then would put a blanket over it to keep the energy. To me, that's a little extreme, just because I personally don't feel like going and doing this to everything at night and putting big blankets. But to her, she was so high frequency. Anything detracted her, so she had to, for her own, just because she would get and stuff.
That's cool. That's really cool to know.
Yes.
And somebody mentioned shungite. Do you know about shungite?
Yes, that's another good one. I have a shungite, and I've got it wrapped in copper. It's somebody. I gotta find her. She's on. I don't think she's on Etsy anymore. I got it off Etsy. It's absolutely beautiful. It's like a wand. That's shungite's very good. You can put your phone on your bedside table next to you. That is fine. Some people put. I still have something that kind of covers it, and it's pretty far away from me, to the point where it's actually annoying. I actually have to kind of get up to get my phone. I try to keep it as far away from me. iPad, computer. I try not to sleep with that in my bed. Why are older people so superstitious? I love that question. Can we answer this together?
You and me together?
Yes. What is your theory? Why do you think older people are superstitious?
I think that those generations, they pass down this, verbal knowledge of things. Like somebody said in the chat I caught, down in the South, we paint the top of our porches paint blue. Yes. And maybe another reason supposedly is wasps don't make nests there because it looks like the sky, but we all know it's paint blue. Like you can go to Home Depot and order paint blue paint, and they will give it to you. Yep. So, it's all these verbal family, wisdom tales, whatever, about things, like some of the people were saying about mirrors, like things that they had been told, right? Don't, cover a mirror after a death, or, all these things, right? Have you guys ever even gone into a yard or seen somebody would hang the mirrors from the trees? Mm-hmm. That freaks me out. I'm like, what are y'all trying to do over here?
It's usually after, it's part of that, Judaism too, right? Or you have to cover the window. There's a part, it's right before a funeral, and oh my God, I can't believe I can't remember which faith. But that's part of the burial ritual too.
So people are saying, they have things passed down.
I agree. I think these, and here's the thing too. Think about how massive the United States is, just from a land mass perspective. And you've got these rituals that are passed down. I used to think there were certain things that were dominant to Black culture, and I just realized, no, it's Southern culture.
Southern culture.
And think about if you go from Georgia, let's go to Texas. That's several thousands of miles. How could that story travel thousands of miles back in the day where they barely had a horse and a dinghy, right?
Yeah.
Because these are tried and true rituals. That's why things I love about studying, Reiki and shamanic practices. This is all ancient medicine that has been passed down. It doesn't lie. You just adapt it to modern eras. My family still has rituals. I don't know if they true or not, but what I'm not going to do today is test it to find out if they're wrong. That's what I'm telling you, because too much of it has been accurate. So I am with you on that. They've passed down. That's why they're superstitious. Somebody told them something. It made sense. And it just kept.
And, they lived, our previous generations lived so close to the earth. They lived with the seasons. They lived with the moon cycles. They lived with all of these things. And I feel like a lot of those things were informed by that, right? And we're so far away from that now, and it doesn't mean that it still isn't happening. It doesn't mean the moon cycles still don't affect us, right? It still does. We've just forgotten about it.
We've taken it for granted. I hope we get back to it. I hope there's generations of people who don't forget it and keep it going some way, somehow. So I just think it's fascinating.
Yeah.
Any other questions from the chat? Any last ghost stories we want to tell before we wrap this up?
This is interesting. Christine is saying she's Scottish and they never leave a house from a different door that they entered from.
Oh, why is that?
Is that like time travel? I mean, you know, really and truly, like, you know, like, thank you, Marie Henson. That's so sweet.
Baylor. Oh, Baylor. Go Bobcats, whatever. I forgot. What are they? Wildebeest? There's some kind of bear.
Wildebeest. Don't allow anyone to sweep your feet.
Yes.
It's interesting. Now any nurse can tell you full moons. That's right. That's right.
Moons.
And police too. Everybody can tell you, you know, teachers even, you know, it's like, things going to be rough today.
Right. Eliza keeps asking, why did ghosts pull my hair? Sweetie, I don't know, other than the fact that they're trying to get your attention.
But it could be a family member.
Yeah, somebody
not
get your attention.
If you got somebody on the other side that's a jokester, think about anybody in your family that's on the other side that pulled your hair. Like, did you have a grandfather that would go and just tug on your hair?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that would be that person. I feel like if a ghost is really, in my opinion, Adrienne, chime in on this, but for the most part, ghosts don't really want to be found out because they really want to live with you. They're using your energy. They're safe in your house. And if they're really that,
True,
you know, in your face, then they're going to be doing other things. They're going to be doing it just more than pulling your hair. If they've got that kind of energy, they're going to be messing with other things as well.
That is true. Thank you, Marie, again. And Bears, go Bears. I agree too. They really, we'll kind of answer this in the end with a story. My aunt's house is like, which is funny because my parents owned the house. My aunt and uncle came to visit from California, fell in love with the house, convinced my parents to sell the house to them. So we used to live in this house. When we lived there, nothing, right? I cannot walk upstairs in my aunt's house. The energy, that is the one thing that actually terrifies me. Because I see them as soon as I walk up the stairs. There's she's got a couple of them that I see in the black body form. One of them I call Abe Lincoln because he's very tall and he's got a clear top hat.
A clear top hat. Cool.
It's not clear top hat. I'm sorry. Clearly he's wearing a top hat.
Oh, he's wearing a top hat. Okay.
That's why I called him Abe Lincoln. Hi, Scooter. Scott is my brother from another mother. His house is haunted as heck too. He texts me about once every couple months and is like, it happened again. But they really don't want to be bothered. And I can tell because they'll roam around when we're all downstairs. And as soon as I go upstairs, you can see it's like the parting of the Red Sea. They go into other rooms. Even the haints I had in this house, if I was in a dining room, they'd be in the bedroom. Yeah, and as soon as I go chase them in the bedroom, they go somewhere else. They just want to use, and they're usually pretty comfortable. They like your energy. They just want to chill. They're like the bad boyfriend who moves in your house, eats up all your granola, eats up your Cheetos, lays on the couch in his boxer shorts, scratches himself, leaves Cheeto dust everywhere, and doesn't pay the electric bill. That's kind of what they do and where they are.
That's very true. And especially mediums or light workers or people who can see them, they're a little bit aware, right? That if we can see them, then we can toss them out, right? So they really want to kind of stay out of your way as much as possible, unless they don't like you. Now, if they don't like you, or maybe they like me, but they don't like my roommate, or they don't like, my friend, they'll send energy to that person, unwelcome energy. And that person will be like, I don't like your house. I don't feel comfortable. And you're like, okay, fine. I love it.
My baby cousin, she's not a baby. She's almost 30 damn years old, but to me, she's still a baby. She's my little sister. I love her so much. She lived in this house in Columbia, South Carolina. my aunt, who's the psychic medium, who sees, and like, she is so gifted. It's amazing. My aunt saw the ghost. It's an older white lady, so caring and loving. And she and my aunt would talk every time my aunt would go to the house. This woman chased out 3 of my cousin's ex-boyfriends. She hated all of them, and they were all pieces of crap too. She chased all of them out.
Wow.
All of them out. And my cousin got to embrace her. And like, my cousin was torn because she needed to move, but she didn't want to leave the ghost because she had just felt so protected. And I was just like, sweetie, you can ask her if she'll go with you.
Oh yeah.
She may go with you. And so, yeah, she chased out 3. So yes, you nailed it, Susan. They can, if they don't like somebody else's energy, don't mess with them.
Don't mess with you. Yeah. And here's the other thing: your ghost or your ghost, the ghost can get in the car with you, right? The ghost can get on the plane with you, the train, whatever, but they can't of their own volition pop. Like once you cross over, you can pop anywhere you want. Want to go to Sweden? Boom, there you are. Want to go visit grandma or your brother? Bam, there you are. But ghosts are very, they're stuck here on this kind of gravity, but they will get in the car with you. And if you're moving or if you're going on a trip, hey, and you know what? I've had friends that have picked up ghosts in airports, gone on a trip and come home with one.
I've had one get in the car with me after going through doing a ghost.
Yep, me too.
In a cemetery, and I had to convince her. I actually had to drive back past the cemetery to drop her ass back off. I was like, "You cannot, no, ma'am."
That's right. That's right.
Scooter Pie. I told a story about. So Scott, we did this a couple weeks ago, and I told a story about your house in Houston, about that ghost, and that you guys didn't even like show me the room. And then I, woke up in the middle of the night to go pee potty because I'm old self, and went to the room and was about to open the door, and the ghost said, "Don't you dare." And then I didn't. And then I told you and your spouse about it the next day, and you were like, "We didn't know the house was haunted." It showed itself to you, and I'm like, "Yes, very nice." And then how y'all got the hell up out of Houston a little while later. Like, gotta go.
See, you scared too.
It takes a lot. One of the things that Susan and I were talking about before we started was it's kind of funny how when you do this, just kind of how you adapt. And when I was little, I was terrified of everything. The family dog, the vacuum cleaner, Michael Jackson's Thriller. We had these sheets that had butterflies, and I hated those sheets, and I used to purposely pee the bed every time my mom would put those sheets on the bed because I hated those sheets. They scared me. And now I'm like, want to go to a haunted insane asylum at night? Let's ride. Like, it doesn't, humans scare me more than the other side. It just, I don't know. Because you claim you're a scaredy cat, but you're not.
I think I am. I mean, I don't really go looking. I didn't go to a house in the middle of the night with an EMF. I mean, I didn't go ghost busting, right? So, and I'm telling you guys, I have my rules. If something comes in here and I don't like it, I call Archangel Michael, and you don't have to be religious. You don't have to be any religion. Archangel Michael will come anytime you call him, and he's got the sword, and he's the light workers, he's the protector of the light workers. So I get real serious. You know what I mean? Like this thing in this mirror, I'm fixing to have to, I'm fixing to have to bring it on.
Yes. You know what we need to do too? So I'm working on a documentary about a haunted insane asylum. So yes, when I said I will go to a haunted insane asylum at night, that is a true story. I actually have some of the video on my personal YouTube that's private. I may make it public one day so you guys can see it. So after we go to Savannah, you know what that means.
What does that mean?
You're coming up here to Maryland.
Okay.
Well, the insane asylum's in Maryland, and we're going to go do our medium thing. Jen Lynn, you down?
Jen Lynn has got to be down. I think Jen Lynn, and I think you should drag Shay.
Oh, she's going to come down?
Yeah.
because
Susan's yanking that mirror. I am yanking that mirror off the wall, you guys. It's to everything I can do to not do it right now. Like, be like, I got to go. Excuse me.
I do not have, and I have one mirror that technically faces my bed, but part of the reflection can see my windows, and I cover it. Yeah, that's the one thing in my house that I actually will cover, because I just don't want whatever energy that people are frolicking outside to come and be magnified in my house.
I covered this mirror. I really did, because it's set in a great big antique, and it's not mine. It's just in here. It's just stored in here. But it's a mirror set in this big bookcase thing that was it was an old fireplace that they made a bookcase and they put a mirror. I don't even know how many hundreds of pounds. But it got moved recently. So this is a newer place in relation to me and my desk. Yeah. And I covered it with a towel. I mean, because that just stopped it like that, right?
Yeah, it just needs to be covered or moved. I have a really good friend. I yell at her every time because she tries to be cute and put mirrors in weird places. All right, heifer, and every 3 days you're in a bad mood, some mess happens to you, and you can't keep a good boyfriend. You think it's because of how
can't keep a good boyfriend. So that's a good point. Let's talk about that for just a second. Okay. What effect do ghosts have on you in your house? I mean, we just talked about that for the most part, a lot of times they don't want to bother you. A lot of times they're going to be in like the weirdest room, like your laundry room or in a closet, in your attic. I mean, they do that to stay away from you. They actually don't like people, but they can, their energy, whatever their energy is, if it's sad, if it's forlorn or angry, that's the energy they're emitting.
Yes.
And then that energy gets emitted all over your house at night when they're walking around your house because you're asleep. And it can make you sad. It can make you tired. It can make you feel forlorn or upset for no reason. And that's when you got to check yourself and go, wait, I'm sad. Why am I sad? What's going on here?
Yep. That's why I always say water treatments really help. Because it'll help absorb that energy. And again, that's such a good point. And little things like foggy memory. Yeah, can get distorted. I talked about this, especially last year before I chased them out. The two brothers that were in my house, I could not read tarot for the life of me while they were here.
Really?
I couldn't do it.
Wow.
I look at the cards and go, I don't know what this means. And as soon as we got them out, I'm throwing cards like a spades game, girl. I'm throwing cards, king of cups, two of swords, boom, 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 boom. And I was like, just as quickly say, look, I was back. But I remember trying to do readings with Johnny and Tallulah, and I think I even did one with Jen Lynn. And I would just look at the cards and like, I don't know what these mean.
Oh, wow.
They did not like. And I talked to them. They thought I was weird. They didn't understand what I was doing. They didn't like the tarot because they thought it was the one brother. He thought it was, they were very Christian and they thought it was devil worship. And I was like, no, fool. The fact that you can talk to me and I can see, don't you think that's a little weird? And like,
I know, right?
Oh, right? That's a good point. I'm like, yeah. And I kind of make money off of you. You messing with my money now. Y'all got to go.
Right. When you talk to ghosts and they're over there going to tell you something and you're like, hello, you're the one stuck over here. What are you doing? That's like that guy that was in that building. I'm like, I'm working, it's whatever, 2008. I'm on a computer. You're still rambling around the building. Maybe it's time for you to ramble on off. You know what I mean? Why are you giving me grief?
I told the ghost one time, I said, because he was very egotistical. And I think that's why he had a hard time crossing over. He was a pilot. That's another crazy story I just remember so clearly. And I was like, I'm going to check your ego real quick. When I walk out of the door, humans can see me. They can't see you. Only I can see you.
Oh my God, you check the ego of a ghost. I love it. I love it.
I think so. To go where other people can see you, you need to cross over.
That's hilarious.
And
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Crossing the hell over.
Oh my God. You did cross him over?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Awesome.
While I was on my toilet.
Oh, wow.
It was the water underneath the toilet, y'all. I wasn't actually using the bathroom. I was sitting on the toilet because that was where we could communicate. And that's how I cried. And because that was part of him being snarky. He's like, well, at least I'm not talking to a ghost on the toilet. I was like, touche. Touche.
Oh my God. You got a sarcastic ghost.
But at least people can see me. I'm alive.
Yeah, right? You know, you want to be like, look at me eat this apple pie.
Delicious. You want to bite? Oh, you don't have taste buds because you're dead.
Oh, no. No, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Spirits
come back after they cross over.
Can what come back after they cross over?
Spirits, karma. They come back as they cross over, right? Mm-hmm. And then they can come back, but they're not ghosts anymore. They've crossed over, but now they can pop anywhere they want. I mean, your crossed over loved ones can come visit you and in multiple people at the same time, and it's amazing.
I have had one of the, and I talked about this the last one of my fears with the second entity that came in was that I was scared she was going to try to come back. She really was. We got her to cross over, but she was very reluctant to go. And I really, for about, even now, I still kind of check in with her guides to just make sure that she stays over there, that she doesn't come back, because she was very reluctant, very scared, just didn't want to leave. And so sometimes they can, but it's, but for the most part, like you said, if they come back, it's after they've crossed over, it's very different. Very different.
So we need to congratulate Aspie Third Eye. It looks like she has a good job opportunity. Yes.
Congratulations, Aspie.
Yes.
Fantastic. Do all of you. That is awesome.
And Ms. May said, I would not mind a ghost giving me the winning lottery numbers.
You know, every time when people, because I don't tell, there's only like 2 of my coworkers that are in my current group who know, and I've never flat out just said, hi, my name's Adrian, I'm a psychic medium, because I don't trust people like that, which is so weird. I'm on YouTube doing this. Anyway, when people, they have slowly put the pieces of the puzzle together to realize that I'm pretty intuitive, and I hate it. I don't know if they do this to you, Susan, or like Jen, Lynn, or Becca, where they go, can you tell me the winning lottery numbers? And
yes, they do. Yeah, they do. Fool, do you think I would be sitting here looking at you if they gave me the winning lottery numbers?
Do you think I'd be working with your raggedy behind if I have the winning lottery numbers?
I would be on my private island, swimming with the dolphins. I don't know what I would be doing.
Like, I wouldn't be working here with your raggedy behind.
Yeah, I wouldn't be working 9 to 5 here. Yeah.
Not to mention, I wouldn't be driving a car with a piece of duct tape holding the mirror together. That's a true story. Not my current car, but the car before that. By the way, this is awesome. I'm thinking we definitely need to keep doing this because I think this is fun. Side note to the petty heifer who came in just to give me a thumbs down. It still helps my analytics, so thank you very much.
I know it's true, you guys. Yeah, that's true. Hey, and Adrian, don't forget to give away your gift.
I was going to say, we're going to do the giveaway.
All right.
So here's what we're going to do. Again, for those of you who missed it. Oh, wait, time out. For those of you also who missed it earlier. Oh, hell. I'm going to do, hold on. Ain't this about a blip? Time out. Really? Okay, where'd it go? Hold on. Time out. Really? You're going to be that level of disrespectful?
Who are you talking to, girl?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking to the computer.
Never mind. There's like all of us. We're like, hey, what happened?
Sorry. So I got to hold on. If we're going to do this, we got to do this righteously. So.
Okay. Do it righteously, girl. Oh. Sound effects.
So, as a thank you for all of you for joining in tonight for Ghost Stories Part 2, what we're going to do is do a wonderful giveaway for this Angels Answers Oracle deck. It's a beautiful Oracle deck that has 44 cards that helps you learn not only about all of the archangels, but also gives you wonderful messages, including success. You've got the job, Aspie. Congratulations. We're also talking about improving health. Stop eating those donuts and go for a run, you fat dork. And last, no need to worry. Stop using all the antidepressants and anti-anxiety pills. You've got nothing to worry about. You're covered. I love this deck. So somebody is going to win this deck. What I need you to do right now is, actually, I'm going to say this before because everybody always forgets. Whoever wins, you have to email me your address, your home address, something where you go and open the little mail slot or you grab the deck out of the mail slot. Okay? You have to email me within the next hour. Okay? Your email, your home address, you're going to email it to redlentilhealing@gmail.com. You can't win anything if you don't give me the address. And if you go to my website and try to leave the message there, it's going to take like at least 30-40 minutes for me to see it anyway. Just email me at redlentilhealing@gmail.com. Right now, everybody in the chat, put in a number between 1 and 100. Whoever gets the closest is going to win. Again, a number between 1 and 100. Susan, can you help me keep track of numbers?
Sorry.
You don't know what the number is.
Oh my God, look at all these numbers.
I haven't seen it yet.
They're going to help us.
Okay. All right. You've got 10, 9, 8, 7.
Put your numbers in. Put your numbers in.
4.
Put your numbers in.
2, 1. Stop.
Oh my gosh. 865-309.
Jen, Lynn, or Johnny were close with theirs. However, I'm about to put the
Oh my God.
winner. Give me 2 seconds. Hold on. I know the suspense is killing you. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. Hold on.
Are you really doing a random number generator?
I did. I'll show you. I did the random number generator. All right, Mary Hall, congratulations.
Woo!
You won. The number was 2 out of the random number generator. I will hold on, just so y'all know I'm legit.
She's legit. All right.
Random
Number 2.
generator.
I didn't even know those things existed.
They do. They absolutely do. Congratulations, Mary Hall.
I gotta pee.
13 minutes to email me your email, your physical. Again, I need something where you can go into a mail slot and pull this out, home address, so I can send you this amazing deck. Congratulations. Yeah. This is my way of saying thank you to all of you. I had no idea how I got to 3,100, but you all helped. So thank you very much.
Love this community. Don't you love this community?
So much cat snatching fun. I cannot stop. So
thank you guys so much, everybody.
Yes, we're doing this again in a couple weeks. We because I just want, because selfishly hanging out with Susan it gives me everything.
Thank you so much. We have had a blast.
Yes, we may as well record it. So we will do this again in a couple weeks. We will, of course, I'm Selfish, so our awesome theme music will be back. We will, it may be on my channel or Susan Lynn's channel, but when we get closer to the date, we will let you know. Please come back. Thank you guys again for watching. Take care of yourself first.
Yes.
Then and only then can you take care of everybody else. So then we can collectively take care of Mama Earth.
True. It's true. It's true. And there's still a lot more to talk about, guys. So bring your questions. Bring it. Just bring it.
Bring it.
Bring it.
That's how we
We'll
had this
handle
one.
it.
Because guys sent so many questions. So keep them coming. Thanks again, guys. Susan Lynn, thank you so much.
Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.